Star, look at him smile as he scores another touchdown against Ole Miss, and Tiger fans cannot stand it any longer as they stand up and cheer for good old Billy Cannon. Like, that's what I mean by glory days. If Joe Buck's calling your game and that's what you consider glory days, it's not glory days.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings.
Wake up call! Please, God, if it does come to that, can we have the Walking Dead zombies, not the World War Z?
Yeah, I don't need the fast-moving,
superhuman.
Ooh,
I'm not outrunning a World War Z zombie.
I'm the guy you bring because secretly you know I can't keep up with the rest of the group. Hey, I'm going to take Bob and Jim and Tony. You come with us too. And everybody knows why you're bringing me. So when push comes to shove, I'm the meal.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans and Rocket Mortgage. During these challenging times, our commitment to providing you with the best mortgage experience remains. We understand that hardships may arise, and we're prepared to help. Mortgage rates remain near historic lows. If you think that now,
and Burrow,
yeah.
our home loan experts are available to help 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at rocketmortgage.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there will be a moment midway through that where I got to leave to just get this.
Okay. You're talking about the 12 minutes, the big segment.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so do you want me to just wait then? I can wait.
Yeah, just wait because I got to get him because he has someone calling in at 20 after.
Okay.
And so I just got to get everything recorded and get everything set up. And then once that guy calls, just turn it on for him.
Yep, no
Nation
problem at all.
Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Where we go beyond the box score. Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is with you every step of the way. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's your host, Eitan Shander.
So dealing with conflicted emotions, right? Because on one side, you continue to see how valuable and necessary the inclusion of every single state and territory that is owned and operated by our government with sports betting, and how necessary this is to just be legal across the country, across the board, as we are finally back. Now, 2 days away, mind you, but finally back to an event that not only can we all sit around and be involved in, once again, we had a little bit of that with The Last Dance, but more so, get around social media, tweet, bark at other fan bases, and bet. All of the different props, all of the different ways in which you can maneuver up and down a draft board with your own money, that returns. And some of us thought we would have to wait, really, depending on where you are physically in the country. And that's what we'll get into in 5 minutes about it being legal or illegal. The bottom line for everybody now is the amount of money that you're going to see put on this event. Thursday night is going to dominate, make no mistake, because it's the primetime event, and there are so many different props to throw out there, from position to conference, and so many other things you can look at, from individual players to second-tier groups like fourth or fifth quarterbacks to be drafted first. And the biggest question would be, how much is this going to net, and what's that going to match up with? The calendar year is different. Throw everything out. This is not a normal year that we're used to, clearly, under what we're going through. But just think about this as we open up. How much money, and is this going to be comparable to the Super Bowl? You may think, whoa, what are you talking? Yes, I'll explain. Also, we already had technical difficulties. The Cincinnati Bengals controller died. Pick one, round one of the Madden draft. Not a good sign moving forward. John Elway wants you to think all is well. I don't necessarily believe it. At Shander Show, twitch.tv/Shander Show, at Ron 2Ns Culver on Twitter.
O'Reilly. This is Jesse.
Okay, so I'm sorry. What's the? I misunderstood. I thought it was the following segment.
No, it'll be in this segment where I just gotta take off, but it'd be towards the tail end of the segment.
Okay, so we can run those two audio cuts in the next like 4 or 5 minutes.
Right. If you
Okay.
want to do it closer to the open, beginning part of the segment, that'd be great.
Perfect.
I still made it to work on time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It is shocking that your home can be stolen this easily. Let me share a true story. Deborah learned that brutal lesson when thieves found the title to her home online. Then they forged the documents to appear she sold her home.
Actually,
but she had.
do you want to come out with the borough cut?
Deborah
Please?
didn't
Okay.
until
That'll knock one
foreclosure
out.
notices arrived and an eviction notice followed. She spent her fortune trying to get.
And then as long as I get to the
Crime
Elway
is
by
all
like what, 16 or 17, you're good?
Yep.
Okay.
scoring crimes. The best advice for avoiding a title fraud nightmare.
And then I'll tell you in your ear when I'm back, so that way you're
Gotcha.
throwing it to break.
Okay.
Like, yeah. Wrapping the segment up and don't hear anything.
Right.
Already a victim of home title fraud. Register your home at HometitleLock.com and enter SAVE for 1 month of free protection. Again, enter SAVE for 1 month of free protection at HometitleLock.com. HometitleLock.com.
As the novel coronavirus pandemic escalates in the U.S., public health officials are encouraging those who are experiencing signs or symptoms of COVID-19, such as coughing
Ben
or
Baby
fever,
at
to seek medical
11:40
guidance remotely.
and Cole
If you
Komet
or a loved one are
at-
feeling sick or are just feeling worried, there is a way to get help without leaving home. Ro,
at
the
12:30.
parent company of Roman, is offering free telehealth services for people seeking guidance and information on COVID-19. The service is available free of charge in all 50 states and Washington, D.C. Ro's free online assessment will help determine if you are at risk, and if appropriate, Ro will connect you with a medical provider for a free consultation. The assessment is designed by doctors and infectious disease experts and is based on guidelines from the CDC and the World Health Organization. Visit ro.co/coronavirus on your phone or laptop.
So I put
to complete
something
a
out
free online
on
assessment or to just learn more.
Twitter
If you're worried that you may
about
be experiencing
the
symptoms,
GM and the round
ro.co/coronavirus to start your free assessment today.
who first
That's
experienced technical difficulties.
/coronavirus.
Introducing AutomotiveMap.com, a brand new
Lot of
website
gentlemen
for
on here.
anyone interested in
Yeah. I can imagine that.
from reviews on
Yeah,
the latest
it's-
vehicles
I love it.
to
It's like
vintage
people,
rides.
gentlemen, round
Something
3.
you're really set on
It's
the road.
hilarious.
AutomotiveMap.com has something for you. If you love cars, trucks, and SUVs,
Oh, this
and
is
the
amazing.
tech-
Hoodie,
See, I
round
think
1.
they'll get through the first round fine.
AutomotiveMap.com.
Right.
They might even get through day 2 okay. But it'll be that third day when you're scrambling a lot more.
Kane is in the building.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Joe Burrow here.
Yes,
By
sir.
Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
I've been watching the draft enough years that I know crazy things have happened. And, I've watched people on camera slip and then the camera stays in their face and, all that stuff. So I'm, keeping everything on the table. Honest
5 seconds, Mike's off.
to be his number one, but, I'm not positive about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm positive about it. And that's Joe Burrow. PFT PM podcast is who we credit for that. He, along with the entire world, expects to be taken number 1. And if you want any type of reinforcement, back to, of course, betting odds and where you can look at this legally, illegally. I mean, I'm in PA and Jersey, and even in DraftKings in some areas with FanDuel, you have to stretch to find some of these odds for the NFL draft specifically. But right now, Joe Burrow is at minus 100,000. That's it. It's over. He's going. I get what he's saying himself, and maybe he was coached to say that, and that's fine. There's no pointing any fingers at Joe Burrow for pointing out the obvious. But this would be historic if, for whatever reason, Cincinnati, and yes, we do have the benefit of odds makers and being able to bet on the NFL draft, and maybe that wasn't as prevalent and big of a conversation piece 15, 20 years ago. But go back to the last time you were truly shocked, floored by something that happened, and it only has to be in the first round. I don't care about the 6th round. Oh my goodness, they drafted Tom. Yeah, in hindsight, they drafted Tom Brady late in the draft. I'm saying when it actually happened, you were led down the road. There's no way. It's a one-way street. and then all of a sudden you realize everything's going the opposite way. Somehow it got turned on you. That would be second to this. Minus 100,000, $1,000 for you out there who can't visualize this. $1,000 of your own money wins one. That's how likely / lock mode it is that Joe Burrow is going number one. Ben Baby covers the Bengals for that's a lot of B's right there. Ben Baby covers the Bengals. I better say that a couple of times in the break so I don't mess that up. He's going to join us in 35 minutes this hour. And we'll look at a little more than just Joe Burrow because that's been a huge topic of conversation, rightfully so. But a lot of it has been this mystery or this idea, if you will, that Burrow could not go to the Bengals and somebody could make this ridiculous offer. It would be historic if the Bengals traded out. Now, as far as technical difficulties are concerned, we already got a report from Adam Schefter yesterday. We were off the air at the time, but the Bengals had technical difficulties right away. The mock draft that they opened up, there was a problem. Now, I want you to listen to John Elway, who insists that, for the most part at least, things went off without a hitch. The mock draft is basically like the Madden thing. And that would be the funny thing, just to look at where exactly you would have this thing break down, right? So I put it out on Twitter, @Shander Show. And think of this. Just give me the specifics. The round doesn't even need to be the pick. @Ricker NFL goes fourth level analysis on this. But my question was just give me the GM who will be the first to suffer technical difficulties. Respond with the general manager and the round. Now we're throwing this pool out here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Shander Show, where if you guess it correctly, you can win $100. But here I got a ton of people just throwing out Dave Gettleman, which rightfully so. Dave Gettleman makes the most sense. But Joshua @Ricker NFL, look at the details right here. Bengals, round one, pick one. Mike Brown, owner. Duke Tobin, director of player personnel. He even tagged his buddy down in Miami on this one as well. Think of which team would be most likely to just sit there frozen. Right? We go to the New York Giants, and there's Gettleman's face just frozen. We've all had that, right? You've been on your Zoom call. You've been doing whatever it is, work-related. Maybe it's not Zoom. Maybe you found another platform because you've either been hacked or nobody's wearing clothes and you had to out somebody or to just remove somebody from the group and start your own club. But whatever the case is, we've all seen that, right? Where you're having this conversation going and next thing you know, one person in the corner or whoever it is that has infamously, notoriously, the slowest internet of the crew is constantly lagging. Their face just freezes. And if you're really lucky, you'll get the frozen audio that's stuck on repeat that matches the frozen face. So I wonder, that's going to happen. At some point, this is going to be a reality. And I don't necessarily believe that it is going to happen in the first round because it's a smaller time frame. But when you add another round, when you add two more rounds, Saturday is prime day for something to mess up. Saturday is that day. If you were to just look at the 3 days of the NFL draft and predict which, in fact, would be the worst of it from a technical standpoint, it would be the final 3 rounds, 4 rounds. It would be that. MRP Roach 01 on Twitch, probably using DSL connection, Minnesota Vikings. And they also, to his point, have a history with not getting the pick in on time. See, that's where you have to look at this from an analysis standpoint. We know that Joe Burrow is going 1. We know that this is going to be one of the most bet on events, legally, global market, wherever you can find this. We know this event, Thursday night specifically, but it's going to fall into the rest of the weekend, is going to be one of the most heavily bet on events without question. I think it's going to be up there with the Super Bowl. I can't credit this or claim this initially. Corey Parson, fantasy exec, you've heard him with Matt Peralt on Pushing the Odds. Had a conversation with him yesterday. and he brought that up, and it made perfect sense. The pandemic, the fact that we haven't had, forget live sports, we haven't had anything really to bet on. Who dies in Ozarks? Stuff like that. The competitive quarantine eating challenge. I don't know how many of you were betting on the over-under for Joey Chestnut downing 48 Oreos, but that was available. I mean, you can look right now on a FanDuel or DraftKings, where I am, right here in Philadelphia, and I've got one live tennis match, 3 table tennis games going on right now. Table tennis matches, I think you would call them. It's not much. We're back. And we're not just back to who's the first team to trade or where does Tua get drafted. You start to see some serious, like some legit comprehensive bets that are placed from top to bottom. I don't know how much of the technical difficulties that are looming right now, the technical issues that we know is they're going to happen at some point. I don't know how much that weighs in on you betting or where you specifically place your bet. First round prop. I mean, for example, just take players coming out of a specific school. Does technical difficulties, does that happening really influence how many players from Ohio State or LSU will be drafted in the first round? Probably not, right? It's probably not going to be something that a team will look around, panic and say, well, we had a kid from Ohio State. We had a kid from LSU. What do we do? What do we do? Go Oregon. No, it's probably going to impact their ability to trade. It's probably going to impact their ability to move up and down the draft board and be players in a pick, meaning up or back. And back is another thing, too. We always assume, well, trade up, trade up. No, that's probably where it's going to be the biggest factor. And then you can look maybe secondary and say, well, who needs to trade up the most? We talked about the Niners yesterday dangling 13. Forget that. Move up to 3. Miami, we know, is as jacked up as it can be down there to trade up for number 3, move up a couple of slots, draft Tua, and start their new career and start their new regime with a new quarterback and second-year coach and see what you can build down there now that Tom Brady is out of New England. Speaking of which, there was a story that hasn't made sense for years regarding Tom Brady that we'll get to coming up in a couple of minutes. And no, I'm not talking about the most recent thing where he was, I guess, caught and pushed out of a park because he was working out. Supposed to be quarantined, yet Brady, and look, we ripped Dak Prescott, did we not? Cited for working out in a closed Tampa park. Mayor says. That's the headline. Tom Brady was told to leave a Florida park closed down by Corona. I thought they reopened the beaches and you couldn't open a park for Brady. Look, you're opening up half of the eastern coast right there, down statewide. Beaches, I see social distancing, yet still we saw a pick down by Jacksonville immediately after this whole thing was waived. And next thing you know, tons of people on the beaches. You're telling me that Brady can't get out there? It's not like in Dallas there was some sort of order that was lifted where now you can hang out with 50 people. Now it went from, no, 10 or less to 50 or less. There wasn't anything like that. No order or decree was lifted. Here, you had the beaches open, and Brady still couldn't work out in a park. Now, since it was closed, and he knew it was closed, and it was shut down for health reasons, just because I thought and still believe that the park should have been open and should be open, doesn't mean that he shouldn't be ripped for not following the rules. And if you're going to rip and pile on Dak Prescott, rightfully so, there are plenty of people where I am right now that would agree. Just any opportunity, any chance you get to pile on that young man, go ahead and do it. We also have to at least acknowledge the fact that Brady was being a knucklehead. He chose to go out. He's staying in Derek Jeter's house. I know that because I hear the promo with Tony and Ron running on the app on the network where you guys are talking about what happens if something breaks down. He's staying in Jeter's house and he needs to go to a children's park where there's a swing set. He needs to go to the merry-go-round or whatever the heck you call that thing that goes around, that cheap thing you have to push with your own energy, the Flintstones version of the merry-go-round? What's going on here? He doesn't have one area where he can work out, some sort of field, some area around the house. It's Derek Jeter's mansion, for goodness sakes. Come on, if we're going to come down on Dak Prescott, we have to at least acknowledge that Brady was being a bonehead. Now, speaking of Tom Brady, coming up, there is this story that hasn't made sense to me for years. And Brady is no longer at the top of this list. At Shander Show, twitch.tv/Shander Show as well. At Ron Culver, 2 N's is how you follow us and interact on Twitter. And again, the question we threw out, I'll give you another couple of examples here on when, in fact, the first technical difficulty will happen and with what team, specifically the general manager or front office person representing that team. The round and the general manager. At Carl_Grieb, this feels so Cleveland. I tell you, I get so many Gettlemans here. If this person hits, at least with the round, that's the difference, is you have to give me the round. There's going to be a pretty big payout. There's one that I disagree with. At JBFaz1213, the hoodie in round 1. I get that he likes to make you think he doesn't know what Twitcher is or Face Tweet or whatever the heck he called it. But there is no way that Belichick, of all people, of all GMs, is going to be the first one. Brady, no longer the top seller. Doesn't make much sense. We'll get to that next here on the second level.
Bum Phillips, Earl Campbell.
Sorry about that, man.
Oh, no, you're good.
For a Houston. It's 1970s football with red, white, and Columbia blue. The new audiobook at Houston79.com. A game-by-game recap of the night.
I feel bad when I'm running 2 studios at the same time.
New insights. Step into the huddle.
No, you're fine.
Against the Steve.
Do you want to come out with that Elway cut?
Sure.
Okay, awesome.
I will be right back.
Yep.
Red, white, and Columbia blue. Download now at Houston79.com. This is Straight Heat.
Kevin Durant went on the All the Smoke podcast and decided to tell why he left Oklahoma City. In OKC, I played with a lot of athletes. I didn't play with a lot of skilled guys, not like shooters, ball handlers. I was like, I need change. And this was before the season even started. I was tired of having to be the only guy that can make threes, make jump shots, and consistently win. This isn't, as much as he meant this as a put down to Russ and Ibaka and all the guys on that team, this is a put down on himself. He wasn't good enough to be the man, and he just told you so.
Straight Heat with Patrick Creighton. Weekdays from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. Eastern on SB Nation Radio. SB Nation Radio. Introducing AutomotiveMap.com, a brand new website for anyone interested in what's happening in the world of automobiles. From reviews on the latest vehicles to vintage rides to tips on keeping your family safe on the road, AutomotiveMap.com has something for you. If you love cars, trucks, and SUVs, and the amazing technology hitting your favorite showroom, check out the brand new AutomotiveMap.com. Let's go. Pushing the Odds with Matt Perrault.
Prepping Murphy Stadium joining us here on Pushing the Odds. What are you hearing from athletic directors and coaches about their preparations for what may or may not happen coming up this fall?
As far as the athletic directors, I mean, they've got a number of contingency plans, whether that starts in late August as scheduled or maybe even gets pushed back to the spring. The NFL to play football does not need to bring back 40,000 students on campus. College football does. But I just think it's very unrealistic that all of these major university presidents will feel confident enough to say, you know what, to all of our students all over the world, it's now safe to come back on campus and take your fall classes. But make no mistake, they will find out some way to get this season done, which could mean the semifinals from the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl and the national title game from Miami going on maybe as late as Memorial Day.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Perrault. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern on SB Nation Radio.
You want me to bump back with Elway?
Yeah, please. I'm going to get you Ben's number, too.
You're listening to The Second Level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores. Here's Eitan Shander.
Yeah, the draft went smooth. It got off to a little bit of a hiccup when we first started, but other than that, it went really smooth. There were really no problems with it, so we got more comfortable with it. So it should be fine and go on without a glitch. And
5 seconds, Mike's up.
Actually, for the first time, I thought it went pretty well.
That's John Elway saying, "Don't worry, it was just the Bengals." That's basically what he said. Don't worry, it was just the Bengals. It was their fault. Bad Wi-Fi, like that dart player in Scotland who can't participate in the tournament because he has the lowest speed in the entire nation. John Elway said, don't worry, it really, once we got past the Bengals, because you combine the two things, right? The Schefter report, which is the Bengals had issues, and Elway specifically saying, once we got through that first little hiccup at the start of the draft, what else could it be? It wasn't Washington. It wasn't Detroit. It's not like we had reports coming out from Mort following Schefter saying, 6th pick, good luck out there. No, it was the Bengals. Now, you can look at this one of two ways, and then we'll define what technical difficulties really are. The one way you look at it is the Bengals need to get their act together as mandated by the NFL. This is not some dart throwing championship or 4 people eating Oreos in front of a YouTube screen. This is the NFL draft. Bump up your bandwidth, and they fixed it, which would definitely weigh against anything happening from a technical difficulty standpoint in the first round. Or it's way too close for comfort, getting a couple of days away from launch Thursday night. And we are back to that scene where Ryan launches the website in the office, and before Kelly sticks the pizza on it and sticks it to Ryan, you have a couple of people unaware that they're even on the air, and the other guy just frozen in the corner. So you can look at it really one of two ways, as an omen or as a message, really a sign out there that the NFL is going to be fine. They just had this one small glitch. Now, you also have on Twitch, someone is going to have an inappropriate screen share during the draft. That probably should count as technical difficulties. And I don't know what that screen share would be, but if you just want to focus on that small definition of technical difficulties, hey, I don't know what it would be. A mistake, right? I don't know what circumstance would require David Gettleman to share his screen outside of the cam that you're going to see already set up. But yeah, I could see that. Now, what would that be? What would be an inappropriate shot that you could, and take any GM or front office person who's going to be representing their team that you want? Even Jerry Jones, who probably won't be on camera, right? But still, anybody you want, thinking of what an inappropriate screen share would be. Gettleman seems to be the choice of the day today, especially for which GM is going to screw it up first with technical difficulties.
Nah, but I feel like he's been the choice since day one. Since there was a viral photo that went up. It was his war room and God, who else? Who others? I think it was John Lynch.
Yeah, you're right.
His war room.
It was somebody competent.
Yeah, and you look at John Lynch, and he has like 5 computers in front of him, and state of the art espresso machine, and just pretty much everything that you possibly would need in order to draft today's NFL. And then you look at Gettleman, and you see, I think there was a computer, probably one of those the original Apple IIc computers.
Yeah, he could play Load Runner on it.
Yeah, where you had to insert a floppy disk to put in your saved materials.
Absolutely.
And then he had a draft book in front of him that was definitely thicker than War and Peace and the Bible put together.
I can't. How many copies of the New York Post or the Daily News?
He probably has them all written behind him, right?
What would be an inappropriate?
He's the type of guy who asks his secretary, now that they're not printing newspapers anymore, to just go ahead and print off the newspaper.
Yep, absolutely. Just take the first 4 or 5 things I send you from the New York Post and just print it all.
Oh, no. He's not sending her anything. Are you kidding me?
Well, no, not like links. I'm just saying as far as like New York Post, Daily News, he's probably sending them papers, right? And saying, I want them printed off.
He probably told her in advance because I don't think he's, texting or tweeting or snap facing or any of that fun stuff that Belichick always likes to make fun of. And I agree with you. Anyone who thinks Belichick will be the first one with the snafu, you're gravely mistaken.
He's going to be so prepared.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is we'll never get a shot of his war room. All right, so let's think of this. The complete opposite of the screen share, the social faux pas that would happen on this huge webinar video chat would be Belichick. I guarantee you that you don't see anything. If you're watching on my Twitch channel right now, twitch.tv/Shanner Show, you see all these trinkets and this Eagles stuff and my logo and all these things here, the mic and everything. I bet you with Belichick, if he's even the person there, right? And if I couldn't you imagine, when they have, and I don't mean to make light of this, but when they have somebody who's speaking anonymously on a television show and they have them shaded out and their voice is altered?
Yes.
That's Belichick. Thursday night on the draft. If it's even him, it's whoever the person is representing the Patriots. You won't be able to see their face. Their voice will sound altered.
We'll take with the 31st pick of the NFL draft.
Exactly right. It'll be like one of these 2020 episodes where a whistleblower, has to be anonymous. Don't show my face, alter my voice. Otherwise, they know it's me.
Does he go silhouette or pixel?
Oh, well, now I think
now you got your odds there.
I think it's okay. Let's look at this, though. I think you go silhouette because pixel. Yes, because pixel you can still decrypt.
Kind of make it out.
Yeah, and I think that there are probably programs, hackers, there are probably people way more savvy than us with a computer that can depixelate something or repixelate, something that's pixelated.
I grew up in my bedroom. I had a TV. I felt one of the lucky ones because that was still kind of freshly new, and I only had 13 channels. One of them came in scrambled, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
And I was able to determine what I was seeing. Sometimes the picture was a little clearer than others, but you were always able to tell what you were seeing.
To make an analogy, there's a King of the Hill episode. I don't have time to do that. But yes, you're right. That was bliss. You had 5 or 6 seconds maybe of bliss before you went back to a full-on scramble. That's why I think you go silhouette. Ben Beatty covers the Bengals for ESPN. He's next.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans and Rock
Silhouette.
In the challenging times we're all experiencing, our top priority is the health and safety of
What
the
happened with
communities we
Maverick
serve.
Carter?
And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that'll never change.
Who's Maverick Carter?
Oh, he's
best
ripping Steph
mortgage
Carter.
experience.
LeBron's agent.
Guiding philosophy.
I don't know.
Every client, every time,
I thought it might
no
be something bigger
exceptions,
than it was.
no excuses, exists for times like right now. We understand that hardships may arise, and we're prepared to help. If you currently work with us and need assistance with your mortgage, contact us 24/7 at rocketmortgage.com. As we all think about ways to save money, let me remind you that mortgage rates are near historic lows. If you think right now is the right time to refinance your mortgage, our home loan experts are available to help you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at rocketmortgage.com.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. And NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
The American spirit is alive and well. And underscore the word spirit because at a time when we could all use a little good news, this story will do the trick. The company is called Surf City Stillworks out of Huntington Beach, California. And as their name implies, Surf City creates unique, amazing craft bourbon, vodka, gin, and rum. And to say their business was booming would be an understatement. Then came the pandemic. Hospitals and first responders were desperate for hand sanitizers. Without giving it a second thought, Surf City converted a massive still from creating craft bourbon to creating hundreds of gallons of FDA-approved hand sanitizer for first responders, hospitals, and others. If you live in California and you love craft bourbon, vodka, gin, or rum, and you want to support a great American company, visit surfcitystillworks.com and enter radio for 20% off of any home delivery of their spirits.
It's not Kemet.
You can also donate. That's promo code radio for 20% off at surfcitystillworks.com. Cheers.
Right now, the world feels different as we stay apart to make sure we can safely come back together. Till then, there is something you can do without even leaving your home. Respond to the 2020 census online, by phone, or by mail. The census impacts where hundreds of billions in federal funding will go for things like hospitals, schools, roads. Now is the time to go to 2020census.gov. It's as easy as it is important. Shape your future. Start here at 2020census.gov. Paid for by U.S. Census Bureau.
We're all in uncharted territory, looking for ways to support our communities. At Dell Technologies, we're making sure small businesses have the right tech solutions. Dell Technologies advisors are here for you, from helping small businesses stay connected and productive while working remotely with Windows 10 and Microsoft Teams, to rapidly deploying remote work solutions that limit upfront costs with Dell Financial Services. We're standing by you every step of the way. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Dealing with the root.
Ben's ready.
Second level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
All right, so we gave you those odds, those ridiculous, insane odds, and tried to think if there was anything in the history of the draft that would be as historic as the unlikely possibility, that the Bengals would do anything other than draft Joe Burrow. Minus 100,000 at FanDuel Sportsbook. We go out to the Progressive guest line and bring in Ben Baby, who covers the Bengals for ESPN, at Ben_Baby. Eitan Shander, SB Nation Radio on the second level. Ben, first and foremost, thank you, sir, for your time, and hope you and yours are doing well in Cincinnati.
I appreciate you having me on, Eitan, and same thing for you as well.
Trying to get through, man. Staying home, which is a good thing for the most part, as we've seen, and now we finally have something other than the last dance as far as sports are concerned in front of us. And everybody has already expected that the draft not only starts after 1, but really after 2. We talked about just how ridiculous this is, minus 100,000. What world would we be living in, Ben, where the Bengals would not draft Joe Burrow?
We'd be living on a completely different planet. I mean, if the Bengals don't take Joe Burrow, I just don't see it happening. I think the Bengals have been locked in on Burrow for a long time now, and over the course of the evaluation period, they've really come to like what they've seen in terms of his pre-snap reads, his ability to be accurate with the ball, his timing, and his when he's getting the ball out, and on top of all of that, his leadership qualities, and what they. The mental aspect and how he approaches the game is something they've been really pleased with throughout this process. So even though they haven't been able to beat with him physically and never were able to see him throw in person, they still feel really good about Joe. And like I said, I would be just completely stunned. It'll be the upset of the century if they don't take Joe Burrow with the first overall pick.
Seriously, we were going back, just trying to rack our brains. I don't remember if there was ever a time, and it would have to be in the first round because this is the magnitude of it, number 1 overall, but just being so floored, so shocked. And it doesn't count in hindsight, right? It just counts with all the lead up. This is as much of a lock as it is. But I do wonder, and you're perfect for this, Ben, how well equipped right now, year 1, are the Bengals to host and handle a talent like Joe Burrow?
Yeah, they've done a lot of work preparing for Joe Burrow, especially when you look at what they've done this offseason. They spent a ton of money, upwards of around, $150 million total in free agency, which is unheard of for this franchise. That most of that was done on the defensive side of the ball, which is all needs to be done. But look at also, the offensive weapons that Joe Burrow will have at his disposal: Joe Mixon, AJ Green, John Ross, Tyler Boyd. They have the weapons capable for him to be capable to do well. But you have to remember that as a rookie, it is a lot to ask to be immediately a success as soon as you come into the league. You still have to get yourself acclimated to what things are like in the NFL on the field and off the field. And especially when you look at as a quarterback, the passing windows that you're going to be going into are going to be a lot tighter than they are even in the SEC. So there are going to be some growing pains. I think it's a lot to ask for to come in and immediately turn this franchise into a playoff contender. But I think that he will have the pieces to be successful early on, and he's stepping into a decent situation.
What's the fan base like? And using the backdrop, of course, with the expected arrival of Joe Burrow and what that means moving forward. But I feel like the Bengals fan base isn't discussed enough on the national level, going through years of not making the playoffs, failures, and seeing quarterback struggles as well. It's easy to point to Cleveland or here in Philadelphia or, Oakland Raiders and just those sexy fan bases that are always fun to make fun of. But how frustrated right now is the Bengals fan base, and how much does Joe Burrow help that even in year one, Ben?
Yeah, that's a really big aspect of this whole situation. I mean, this fan base and this franchise hasn't won a playoff game since 1991. And they had a ton of postseason trips under Andy Dalton. In the teams, but they just never were able to get over that hump, one for one reason or another. And so this is a franchise in a city that's really yearning for that success, that postseason success. And so Burrow's going to step into a situation where there is going to be a lot, riding on how successful he is. Because, at some point you can always say enough is enough. And the attendance has really lagged in the last couple of years. Last year was the worst since 1993. And so, right now, I mean, you got a fan base that really needs, a spark, a boost. And I don't know if anybody but Joe Burrow can provide that to the city.
Ben Baby joining us at Ben_Baby, covers all things Cincinnati Bengals for ESPN, Eitan Shander, the second level. Outside of Joe Burrow, what's the biggest name in Cincinnati that you, other colleagues, members of the fan base, everybody's talking? Joe Burrow's the easy one, right? We know he's going there. Who's the second most popular name on the draft board?
I think there's a lot of different, because there's so many needs that the Bengals have. I think it's the take your pick on what position you think is the sexiest going into the draft. When you go look at linebacker, I think, if Kenneth Murray somehow drafted 33, I think the Bengals would be thrilled. Maybe, Patrick Queen, and then, a linebacker would be phenomenal. But I just don't think that the caliber of what you're looking for is going to line up with their draft slot. So maybe you're looking at a wide receiver because there's so many of them, and you're going to get a really good talent at 33 if you decide to stay there. Maybe a Denzel Mims, Jalen Rader, Laviska Shenault. I mean, the names are endless. So I think if you're a Bengals fan, ideally what I think might happen is, the Bengals will probably trade down from 33, get an additional second round pick, which is something they've traditionally been aggressive in doing. And then that way you're able to maybe go get a wide receiver and a linebacker or a wide receiver and an offensive lineman. For me, when I look at this draft and the Bengals' current roster, I think you're going to need a new number one receiver or somebody to step alongside Tyler Boyd because A.J. Green's future is so uncertain here in Cincinnati after 2020. And I think the Bengals really need to attack that position and do well in the draft, at that spot this year.
Ben, before we get to that point you raised about A.J. Green and his future, let me just ask this. As far as yesterday is concerned, your colleague Adam Schefter, I believe, was the one who first had it. What happened? What happened with the Bengals at the top of the draft? Any idea?
Yeah, as Schefter reported, it looked kind of like it was just a technological glitch. Wasn't like there was anything, that was the Bengals' fault in how they did it, and I think that's why you have these guidelines as people, as we're all trying to figure out how to navigate this world, during the global pandemic and how we adapt to technology. It's I think we've all kind of had some hiccups here and there, and so I think it's good that the league has sat everybody down and had a run through, because the last thing you want is for something to go south on Thursday when there's so much money riding on the line in terms of future dollars for all these franchises and future success. If you don't make the right pick, and so I think that there is, I think that they worked everything out yesterday, and I expect things to go pretty smoothly. And given the setup and how things will go, even if the tech fails, I think an old-fashioned phone call will suffice when you need to make your pick.
At Ben_Baby, Ben Baby joining us, Bengals for ESPN, Eitan Shander, second level. Let's go back to what you said about A.J. Green. He'll be 32 at the start of the season. What's the future hold, in your opinion, even if it's just a year, or maybe there is a way in which he sticks around for a little bit?
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating because A.J.'s been pretty quiet throughout the offseason as they went through this process. And but when you parse through what he said, I think he's going to take the franchise tag as an insult. He'll understand it as business, as usual, and that's kind of part of being in the league and being in the game. But, for a franchise that knows what AJ is capable of, I think he feels like he's got nothing left to prove and he's worthy of a long-term deal. Now, on the flip side, the franchise will argue that, he hasn't been really healthy enough to warrant a long-term, contract moving forward. So I think those two are going to be at odds. And I think, this situation really is going to, clear itself up until we get to the next offseason, and we'll find out, if the Bengals, does AJ want to stay in Cincinnati after they basically said we're not going to extend you long term until you prove something, and he's going to be productive enough to warrant that kind of money, not just in Cincinnati but elsewhere. That's one of the biggest questions that'll be surrounding the team and surrounding AJ next season.
Ben, I'm curious, is the clock, and I know he was only there for 1 year, and it wouldn't be the first time a coach would be fired after 1 or even 2 years in the NFL, but is last year gone? Has it been stricken from the record? Is this now year 1 for Zach Taylor? And the reason why I ask that is because there were odds to come out this offseason about the first head coach to be fired, and he's at like plus 3,300, below a bunch of bigger names, clearly, but guys who you would think would actually be more entrenched. And there's Zach Taylor with the odds would tell you he ain't going anywhere this year.
Yeah, I think everyone knew when he was hired that there was going to be, it was going to be a long road from the bottom. You look at, and that roster really needs to bottom out, and you look at the situation he inherited, and I think it'd be unfair to make a knee-jerk reaction after one season. Now, if they don't make any progress, if they continue to look this bad in years 2 and then maybe even year 3, then obviously something will need to be done. But I think he definitely gets some grace period because of the situation he stepped into, and that's going to have a new quarterback to kind of lead the system in this era that he wants to usher in Cincinnati. So, like you said, I think this is going to be essentially a year 1 for Zach, and then we'll get a better estimate of what he would be able to do, and if he's equipped right now to be an NFL head coach. I've
been last one, and truly appreciate the time, the insight, and again, thankful that all is well with you and yours in Cincinnati. Very important question for the masses out here to know about Cincinnati specifically. You get the text. Burrow gets drafted. Day after, you get the text, hey, Ben, I'm coming to town. I know I have to social distance and all that, but where is the first place I should go to get something to eat?
Oh, that's a good question. I just moved to Cincinnati myself about a year ago.
Oh, okay. Well, where are you from?
I'm from the Texas area. I'm from the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Oh, okay. So you know Dallas in and out. I'm in Philly, so I know, but I don't know Cincinnati. I just know the stereotype of cup of chili, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely wanted to. I wanted to take him to get chili. I've been taking him to go get some Eli's barbecue. We'd be going, get some pulled pork from there. I'm a brisket guy, so I can't get brisket anywhere outside of Texas.
I love it.
But, we're going to get the pulled pork, go get a burger. I would stay away from the chili first meal.
Awesome, Ben. Thank you, sir, for the time. Be safe.
Hey, thank you for having me.
You got it, Ben Baby, at Ben_baby on the Progressive guest line. Look at that. At least I'm with the same exact way. And I've been out of New York forever, nearly 2 decades at this point, or longer than that, really, if you count how many years I've been on this planet. And I'm still apprehensive about recommending pizza places outside of anywhere in the 5 boroughs of New York City. And I've been in Philadelphia, as I told you, over 2 decades. Now, I know in and out where to recommend all the spots, the non-tourist spots, to recommend cheesesteak, hoagies, we call them here, other actual restaurants where you don't have to stand outside at a window and order. So there are plenty of in and out spots, like local spots here. But at the same time, I wouldn't overstep my boundary and recommend just a typical tourist trap because, hey, it's Philadelphia. That's Shander Show, twitch.tv/Shander Show. We'll wrap the hour next here on the Second Level.
Tom Brady is going to be living at Jeter's house.
First off, on mine, what if you need to replace the dishwasher? Is that Jeter's problem or is that Brady's problem? Smart guy.
Yeah, he was great, man. And
I'm not going to pay you rent.
He jammed a lot in, too. And I didn't feel like he was
the cell phone
speeding through his answer.
Oh, no. I already went down this road
He was
before
really
with the
good.
NFL. No chance. This phone's not going anywhere near that basket.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Colbert. Weekday mornings.
My mouse died in the middle of a screen share. Hold on.
Execs are holding a mock draft
That's
just to
right.
see if everything will be working properly.
Yeah.
So they don't tip their hand. They're most likely going to be selecting the franchise's greatest player.
Oh, that'd be fun. My brain is rolling through the controversy for some team.
Yes. We need to know who you think for certain teams. For Detroit, easy.
For some, it would be difficult.
Say the Cowboys, that's going to be tough.
Of course.
For the Bears, that's
For
going
the
to be
Bears,
tough.
that's going to be really tough.
But I mean, for some teams, I mean, like I said, the Lions, easy. I mean, you only have one great player in your franchise history.
But Eric Hipple doesn't get on the radar?
We all know who the best player in Detroit Lions history is.
Right. New York Giants.
Everyone
Lawrence Taylor? I would say it's Lawrence Taylor.
I would say it's Lawrence Taylor.
If you're Tampa Bay, do you say Tom Brady?
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings.
Hey everybody, RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com, your home for the best Dallas Cowboys coverage on the web. And did you know that we have a podcast feed? The Blogging the Boys podcast feed has daily episodes breaking down the latest and greatest in the world of America's team. We have multiple shows, multiple analysts, including a Super Bowl winner, two-time Super Bowl champion Tony Casillas is part of our rotation, and we want to make sure you are as well. We're available on Apple, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcast. So don't miss out. Subscribe to the Blogging the Boys podcast feed today.
SB Nation Tonight with John Michaels.
What event do you think you'd have any chance of actually getting done? I'm trying to think. I would probably have to learn how to do one of those shooting events.
I feel like you've been on a. We haven't had time to talk about it because we played putts and also you're bouncing around in the interview. I feel like you've been on a different music kick today. Am I right?
20 feet in the air.
Yeah. Let's change it up a little bit
Yeah,
every once in a while.
Sure, what diving? Unless we could have done a
When I wake up and what I feel like.
Is that it? Just
diving into
whatever
the water
mood you're
and
in.
flipping around like a maniac. You know what? Maybe if I train for like a year, I might have a shot to play some ping pong against somebody. Although, actually, no. Those dudes are like 40 feet off the table, and they're and that thing's like the ball's just flying everywhere. I could never do that either. So I don't think there's anything I could do in the Olympics.
SB Nation Tonight, weeknights at 10 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
See, I asked, and this is why you should be following along on the streams in the break, twitch.tv/Shander Show. It's a free service. Because you'll get the conversations. And yes, we fixed all the audio stuff, so not only can you hear Ron, but you can hear our conversations in the break. In fact,
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
I better clean up my language then.
Well, no, you're a star of the show. People want to see your face to
No,
put
you
a
don't
face
wanna
to
see
the
that.
name.
Just find my Twitter, and you'll see. Well, you still won't see my face, but
Are you pixelated or in the silhouette?
silhouette. Nothing. I'm holding my newborn son.
Nice.
But it's like a picture's now like 4 years old or something.
Well, that's okay. You're not. It's not like a dating profile where you need to update it
No,
every 6 months.
Don't really need a dating profile. It's on.
No, that's true. I know
I
you're
would
happily
probably
married.
need help filling one out if it ever came to that.
Well, look, I'm not too far removed from that life, so I'm sure I could figure it out somehow with you. We could struggle through it, but thankfully, you don't need that. So we're in good shape there. But before I even tell you about this amazing second hour we have with a really special, you thought Ben Baby was great. He knocked it out of the park. Wait until you hear who we have 50 minutes from now. But I noticed, and maybe this is just me noticing something that's not accurate or not right, and that's why you're here, that you're on a different kick today when it comes to music, right? Like
Just a little bit. Yeah,
feels a
why
little
not?
more hip-hop-ish.
Yeah, a little more hip hop-ish.
Is that for me? Is that just because, you decided to throw me a
There's
bone, or?
Literally no. Is that your music preference? I have no idea.
Well, that's the thing. I honestly don't care. Here's the thing. I usually will suggest music to people that will play stuff that I don't like. And it's not don't know. It's just don't like. You know what I mean? And I'll give people a couple of, now you and I have worked together for a while and I know that you play a lot of eclectic stuff that I have no idea, or like a deeper cut from a group or a band or an artist that I may not know. So I've never mentioned anything music-wise because it always goes with the show and sounds great. And even if I don't know it, I know that you and other people may recognize it. Even down to the commercial that you played that's in DC, is it right?
Yeah.
Eastern Motors. So that, yes, but I mean, there you go.
It's a great song.
It is a great song. But I mean, my wheelhouse would be, I'd say like 84 to 2000 hip hop, because a lot of it was a different sound. It's a harder sound. It's more of a New York originated sound.
Right.
So that's. But again, I don't.
So you're East Coast, where I'm West Side.
Absolutely, we'll have a beef.
We'll have to meet somewhere in the middle and fight it out.
Where is the middle?
I have no. St.
Norman,
Louis?
Oklahoma.
Norman, Oklahoma. Let's do that. Let's do it. Beat it style.
What's Norman second most famous?
We got to
for?
do it where our hands get tied together and we just kind of keep leaning back from each other.
Yeah, socially. Well, Aaron Burr was way ahead of the game, technically, right? Second hour next.
See,
Norman,
what other
Oklahoma.
show are you going to get an Aaron Burr reference in?
Never, ever, man. Socially distanced a duel.
Now that I know I'm on this on Twitch, I can keep talking.
Absolutely,
What's
man.
happening in the world of automobiles?
Oh yeah.
From reviews on the latest
Somebody said,
vehicles
Ron, you
to
and Eitan are my
vintage
heroes.
rides to tips
See?
on keeping your family safe on the road.
Mike
But
Delaney.
Are we the heroes you need or the ones you deserve?
I think just the
Cars,
ones in
trucks,
front of
and
them right now.
SUVs, and the amazing technology hitting your favorite show.
So we're like the heroes just right now heroes.
Correct.
We're going to be tossed aside very quickly.
Absolutely. As soon as this thing's over, we have an
Makes
hour
all the
left.
sense in the world now.
That's it.
Like Cruising with Matt Peralt every Saturday
1 hour
morning
left.
from 7 to 8 Eastern on Let's Talk Wheels right here on SB Nation Radio. Join Mike and Matt as they talk about everything going on in the world of cars. To get more content on your favorite team, you can check out our friends at SBNation.com. They have team-specific sites to fit your needs, whether it's basketball, baseball, NFL, or the school you graduated from. SB Nation has you covered.
Pushing the odds with Matt Peralt.
This is the problem for a sport like baseball. It is an outdoor sport that must be played in nice weather. And the window for nice weather in certain parts of the country, Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, Boston, is quite small. I actually am somebody who believes that baseball should be going and playing in Arizona and in Florida once this thing calms down. And I think having teams be centrally located, I think finding a facility, a hotel that probably is empty, and putting your team there, it stinks. You're going to be away from your family.
Hey, Tom, I'll be right back.
Life,
I'm here.
But that to me is a must. I just don't see how in the world you put like the New York Yankees in New York. Like how?
Pushing the odds with Matt Peralt. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. SB Nation Tonight with John Michaels.
We don't know that 16 days from now, things might not be trending in a good direction. I'm going to continue to take the glass half full approach. I'm continuing to plan as if college football and pro football is going to happen in the fall, and that we're going to have the NBA by June at some point. I'm thinking by June we're going to have NBA back and baseball will be up and running. We may be playing in front of empty gyms for a while. So be it.
SB Nation Tonight. Weeknights at 10 Eastern on SB Nation Radio.
Wake up call. Who as a country do we trust enough to when they go, you can go back to work, you can go to sports arenas, that we go, absolutely, thanks.
Is it
Good.
Dr. Fossey?
Is it him? Because he's like, we may never be able to shake hands ever again.
Why is your Dr. Fossey voice one step away from Gilbert Gottfried?
I know, right? On the one hand, I want to know what the other hand is doing. And my Dr. Fauci impression is more like, well, it's more like if you have two people in a room, it's better if one of them leaves. So in the future, let's say you're taking your family to a restaurant and there's 4 of you. It's better to just get 4 tables. And please limit the visitation to maybe once every 2 weeks. That would be the best. To keep this completely under control.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings.
Wake up call. What'd you make of the president getting asked about Joe Exotic?
Now, here's the only thing. Here's the only thing I don't like. I don't like the fact that Trump was lying to us
about
not having watched Tiger King.
Yeah, right. Come on.
Come on. You know, he's going through the whole thing. He's like, is that Joe Exotic? I'm like, yeah, you know.
Shut up. Come on.
Come on,
You
Mr.
know
President.
Joe
You
Exotic.
know who Joe Exotic is.
As everybody does.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings. SB Nation Tonight with John Michaels.
Bill O'Brien said this about the soft tissue injury himself, Will Fuller. Quote, we're excited about the 2020 version of Will Fuller. I mean, really, he's hyping up the Will Fuller 2020. If you ever ordered anything off one of those stupid infomercials, here would be your infomercial for the new 2020 Will Fuller. Introducing the all-new 2020 Will Fuller. Hamstring fully attached. Groin working fine. With the 2020 Will Fuller, you're going to have big gains 1 out of every 5 times. The other 4 times, he'll disappear. The 2020 Will Fuller, it might get you to the playoffs, but it'll be on a milk cart. It's somewhere at the end of the year. That's your 2020 Will Fuller. You can buy him for $29.99. Will Fuller injury is not guaranteed for the price of the Will Fuller 2020 version.
SB Nation tonight, weeknights at 10 Eastern on SB Nation Radio.
If business, pleasure, or sports fandom takes you to Houston, Dallas, Austin, Fort Worth, or San Antonio, check out CultureMap.com to get the scoop on the local favorites. From the best restaurants, bars, pubs, and clubs to the biggest sights and sounds each city has to offer, Culture Map has it all. Just head over to CultureMap.com. The expert team personally reviews and visits each spot to make sure you get the best experience. And if you're coming back, sign up for free Culture Map updates at CultureMap.com.
You're going on a trip, but where are you going to stay? You see the story about Cam Soda, this porn site?
By booking on besthotelrates.com. Besthotelrates.com works with all the top hotels in the country while delivering you great hotel and room choices.
It actually makes a lot of sense.
Why wait? Go to besthotelrates.com, enter your email address, and start shopping for your next hotel room. Besthotelrates.com. It's in the name. Besthotelrates.com.
Set your system's volume control for slightly above the normal listening level.
Let's go. Second level thinking is defined as looking beyond the easy, obvious conclusions.
You got to do some smart thinking.
Welcome to the second level. On SB Nation Radio,
And on SBNationRadio.com.
where we go beyond the box score. Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is with you every step of the way. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's your host, Eitan Shander.
Jam-packed hour. It's going to end with Cole Kmet from Notre Dame, the top-rated tight end to hit the NFL draft. Thrilled. This is huge that we have an opportunity to chat with this young man with this historic draft that's about to go off. Most likely will be taken Thursday night, some point in the first round, expected to go heavy as the top-rated tight end, but also going through a completely different set of circumstances leading up to this draft, more so than any other draft in the history of the NFL. And that's social distancing, the virus, and not even being able to have a physical and go physically talk to what could be your future employer. Fake news isn't going anywhere. We've got that 12:25 Eastern with Ron Culver. I have a story before we even get to that, where the NFL might be able to fix any type of streaming issues ahead of time, if in fact they cross over, and I'm using air quotes, although I'm not physically using air quotes because I'd never do that, the dark side. I mentioned this Tom Brady story in the first hour. It's not him getting busted in the park like a bonehead, and he should be ripped, rightfully so, for that. It's a story that never made sense to me. Up until this past season, Tom Brady was the leading jersey seller in the NFL. The guy has been around for 20 years. Who still doesn't have his jersey? It never made. Now Patrick Mahomes, at least there's a younger quarterback who is still on the rise. I don't know who in this world that follows the NFL doesn't know who Mahomes is, but look, he's getting more and more popular. So that would mean, especially if you see him on a commercial or two, the Heinz ketchup stuff and the stuff with Troy Polamalu, he's going to be more recognizable, more jerseys sold. I don't get the other end of it. The variable that can change is Mahomes. Okay, it's Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, whoever. That's fine. I don't get who still was buying Tom Brady jerseys to the level at which he was number one in the NFL. Doesn't make any sense. Never did. At Shander Show, at Ron 2Ns Culver, twitch.tv/Shander Show. I think the NFL has a solution in front of them to fix the streaming problem next.
Attention all timeshare owners. Is this what you'd like to do with your timeshare contract? Do you own a timeshare and just want out? Thousands of timeshare owners are getting out of their timeshare contracts. With the help of Timeshare Compliance, Timeshare Compliance can legally terminate, tear up, shred, eliminate, trash your timeshare agreement, ending your payments forever, saving you thousands. So whether you're a victim of a high-pressure, dishonest sales agent, or you were misled with what you were buying, or you overpaid and they underdelivered, call Timeshare Compliance now for a free consultation. With one simple call, the trusted professionals at Timeshare Compliance can legally rip up your timeshare agreement and help rip up your financial suffering. You could save thousands. Call now before another payment is due. Timeshare Compliance is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Call 800-718-2963. 800-718-2963. 800-718-2963.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company helps you customize your home insurance so you only pay for what you need. Unlike things you paid for you didn't need, like the Vacnado 2000. A Wi-Fi connected vacuum that uploads Dust Bunny data to the cloud for real-time optimization. Whatever that means. But really, it's just a very expensive doggy chew toy. With Liberty Mutual, get customized home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Attention. If you or a loved one took Belviq or Belviq XR for weight loss, call the Belviq Advocates at 1-888-743-7254. You may be at increased risk for cancer, including pancreatic, colorectal, and lung cancer, and you may be entitled to a compensation. Call for a free review of your case at 1-888-743-7254. In February 2020, the FDA requested that the manufacturer of Belviq withdraw the drug from the market due to cancer findings. Call so that we can fight for a compensation to cover your medical bills and more. If you've been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, colorectal, or lung cancer after using the weight loss drug Belviq or Belviq XR, call the Belviq Advocates now for a free consultation. You may be owed a significant compensation. Call 1-888-743-7254. 1-888-743-7254. That's 1-888-743-7254. Consult your physician prior to discontinuing use of any medication. Results may vary.
This moment of gratitude is brought to you by Rocket Mortgage and the Rock family of companies.
We really want to thank my wife's cousin Marie, who works so hard as a nurse saving others.
Those who leave their homes to keep us safe in ours, thank you.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. We're sending all our love, gratitude, and hope your way.
Thank you.
If you'd like to thank America's frontline and essential workers, visit everyoneknowsahero.com. Quicken Loans LLC, NMLS number 3030, licensed in 50 states. Each legal entity that identifies themselves as part of the Rock family of companies are separate legal entities with their own governance and management structures.
You're listening to The Second Level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
Cole Kmet's going to join us in 30 minutes. Tight end out of Notre Dame, highest rated tight end in the NFL draft this year. Fake news in 13 minutes. Before that, mentioned the NFL might have a solution to its streaming problem. Mike Savage, 610 on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Shander Show, raises an interesting question. As much as we talk about what could happen, what could go wrong going into the draft, Mike's question, how long for a team to use the excuse of, quote, well, we didn't pick them, the computer glitched. Somebody's going to use that at some, even if it's in the 6th round, it's going to slide out in some report, some local reporter or somebody covers the team for The Athletic. Somebody is going to uncover this thing. And it may be in New York. I don't know. It may be in Oakland or Vegas now. It may be somewhere, but it's going to happen.
How about this one as an excuse? I couldn't get the pick in time because my kids were using up my Wi-Fi.
See, another one. How many times do you think somebody is going to have to turn back, right? And this is why you know all cameras won't be hot at the same time. Somebody's going to have to turn back and yell at their kids to get off the damn iPad. Will you quit it with that frozen crap? I'm on the phone. I'm trying to draft. I'm trying to draft Eason. Will you just stop it? I don't know. Yes, somebody's going to have to, I'm sure, yell at somebody in their family. One general manager, one front office member is going to have to turn back and threatened to take away the iPad from their 14-year-old kid who's stuck at home. Poor kid stuck at home, quarantined, can't leave, can't play with his friends, his girlfriend, whatever. And all he wants to do is play Fortnite on his iPad. And his dad is just trying to draft him. What world are we living in right now? This is insanity. All right. Before I even get to fake news and this story here about Ben Simmons that I wanted to just audible and bring up because he is the most famous, and what issue he's dealing with is the most famous thing to come out of Philadelphia basketball since Allen Iverson. There is a company. Now, again, on the surface, you may think, oh, all right, some LCD humor here. Come on, Shander. But this actually makes sense. If, in fact, the NFL is trying to fix any type of bandwidth streaming issues, why wouldn't you go to a website, a company that is experienced with dealing with 100,000 times more of people going through traffic, if you will, on their sites? And the obvious answer here would be to go to a porn site. And no, this isn't, hey, Joe Buck, can you do a play? This actually makes sense. There is a website, a porn company, if you will, called Cam Soda. The vice president, Darren Parker, has reportedly issued a letter to Roger Goodell saying and basically offering to help the league out with technical support and setup. This isn't one of anybody who is handling this much traffic in a multi-billion-dollar business like porn would be well suited to be able to offer technical advice and even set something up to handle that much bandwidth of 32 front office members, including the threat that 1 or maybe 10 of those front office members are going to have kids running around watching TV and other stuff pulling away from their internet. It makes sense. It's just, and I understand the optics of it. If this gets out, it's like, do you really want fill in the blank porn company as the provider of your streaming service?
No, I mean that would be a really bad look for the NFL, but I get the point. That makes all the sense in the world because let's face it, they do deal in high traffic.
Let's look at this real quick. What type of website do you think handles the most traffic per day? I would guess that's a top 3 answer, right?
That would have to be, Google.
Google, absolutely, I think is number 1.
Probably in today's world
Netflix.
right now, as we're standing, maybe Netflix. I was also going to throw out Amazon because I think more and more people are shopping via Amazon than anywhere else.
Oh, I smell a poll. Amazon, what was the first? Google, Amazon, or your porn site of choice? What do you think wins as far as a poll is concerned? Google?
I would have to imagine Google. Everyone's Googling, right?
I would think more so than even, because it's the go-to I don't know. For example, my fiance here needed to pop her SIM card out of her new iPhone. I didn't even know that you still had SIM cards in your iPhone. So I went immediately and Googled how to pop a SIM card out. Oh, what about YouTube? I think YouTube would be up there as well because people want to see the video of how to pop a SIM card out.
Well, not everyone's watching videos.
A 20, 30-second video of how to pop a SIM card out. You'd be surprised how popular those things are.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd go YouTube.
Okay, that's fair. I'm even
rethinking Amazon at this moment, but
no, I think you're right with Amazon.
The shopping. I like the Netflix.
I think don't back down from Amazon. I think you're right there.
I'm going with Amazon. But it's just comparison to that other site,
a XXX site,
those other taboo sites. But I think you're absolutely right. I think the NFL should seek out their advice.
Telling you, it makes
business
sense
to business, not what we can offer and what you can offer.
Correct. Absolutely, it does. It has nothing to do with that.
This isn't a way for you to get to Joe Buck.
No, not at all. This is a simple solution to your technical issues. That's it. That's all I would say.
No, that makes perfect sense.
I want to throw this out here, and we'll talk about this because I'm sure this has been a national conversation. It's been brought up at times with you and Tony, as well as on the network and outside of Philadelphia. But let's just play name association. Again, at Shander Show, at Ron Tulenz Culver, twitch.tv/Shander Show. It's the second level here on SB Nation Radio. What's the first thing that you think of when I mention the name all-star, all NBA defender, point guard Ben Simmons?
Two of them pop up, Kardashian and can't shoot.
Okay. And that's his fault for the whole Kardashian thing.
Yeah.
And it is, I think you're right that the average person on the planet would say Kardashian first simply because she's more popular than most NBA players. But but from a sport NBA standpoint, or just anything other than Kardashian, can't shoot threes. That's been the whole story. And the whole story has always been, what could this kid be if in fact he started shooting? Now, there was something that happened earlier in the season where Brett Brown, after a night in which Ben Simmons was open a couple of times, refused to shoot some jump shots, and decided to just pass it off with his guy lagging in the key, basically called out everyone and said, look, I need him to shoot. If his agent is listening, anybody is out there, it was one of the biggest pleas for help that I've ever seen a head coach make about his player. He invoked his agent, saying if his agent is out there, please get him to shoot threes. There was a report that came out today, Kyle Neubeck of the Philly Voice, where I write as well, so you can see my column that comes up today in about 40 minutes, phillyvoice.com. Brett Brown reportedly considered benching Ben Simmons over his unwillingness to shoot threes, but ultimately opted against it. Does this not illustrate how bizarre of a situation this is? Was Jason Kidd ever threatened with a benching? Was anybody else who came into the NBA with a hitch in the shot or just shooting from their hip or clanging off threes? No, because at least they were shooting. I honestly, Ron, this is one of the most bizarre sports stories that I've seen and in or out of my area, where you have a guy who's playing already at an all-star level and has this one key missing component that anybody in the NBA who follows the league is well aware of, like you mentioned, doesn't shoot. And his coach was reportedly considering benching him because he wouldn't shoot. I don't think I've ever seen this. Does Mike Trout get benched if he doesn't take a pitch? Does Tom Brady get benched? Or maybe Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson? Lamar Jackson get benched if he throws a third pick? Probably not, right? I've never seen something so bizarre. And then this is ultimately going to be the head coach's undoing. When, in fact, the NBA returns, which it will for a shortened playoff, if you will, they're going to get bounced out because they had a bad season this year. Brett Brown will be fired for some reasons outside of his control, others, yes. And this specific issue will go back to it. I don't know what you do if you're a coach. You might be coaching high school basketball. You might be coaching youth league. You might be coaching D2. Hell, maybe you're listening right now. You coach Division I basketball. You're an assistant coach in the NBA. I don't know. I don't think you've ever seen anything like this. It's one thing to have the 7th or 8th guy on your team who could get a little more playing time if he just nudged him a little bit. Come on, man, just have some confidence in your shot. This is your best player outside of Embiid, but he's not healthy enough to be your best player. I don't think I've ever seen something so bizarre as a player with this much talent refusing to do one thing. And it's not just, he's refusing to do one thing. He's refusing to do the thing that puts him in the top 5, top 6 category. If Ben Simmons knocks down threes, if Ben Simmons starts shooting with aggression, he becomes one of the most top 5 difficult matchups in the NBA. Not to mention the fact that he's insanely good on defense. I don't know what you can do if you're a head coach. I don't know if it's right to turn back and vilify Brett Brown or any other coach that would be in this situation. We're about to see more of The Last Dance. You think Jordan, Pippen? Well, actually, to be fair, nobody's not going to take that shot, right? You think John Paxson or Steve Kerr following up passes off that shot? Michael Jordan walk right up to you in the timeout and punch you in the face. Fake news next here on The Second Level.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Perrault.
Joe Theismann here on Pushing the Odds. How has quarantine life been for you?
Probably the most important word that we can all consider is patience with everybody. I know everybody's sort of going stir crazy. I mean, let's face it, this is something we're not used to as a society. We move quite rapidly, but now we're forced to sort of reevaluate the important things in life. I think it's good in that regard. Matt, I've said this for a long time. If you have your health, you have wealth. Wealth has nothing to do with what your bank account looks like. If you have your health, then you are a very wealthy person. Now it's important that we understand that you want to be able to keep social distancing so that everybody can stay healthy. And the more we can practice that, every day that we can practice that, every day we can buy a day for the scientists to be able to come up with a cure or a vaccine, it's a day closer to having this craziness end. And life will never be the same.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Peralt. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. Bum Phillips, Earl Campbell, Dan Pastorini, the Love You Blue era Houston Oilers. Experience 1970s football with red, white, and Columbia blue. The new audiobook at Houston79.com. A game-by-game recap of the 1979 Houston Oilers season, featuring player interviews and new insights. Step into the huddle for legendary games against the Steelers and Cowboys, and relive one of the most controversial plays ever, the Mike Renfro play. Red, white, and Columbia blue. Download now at Houston79.com.
Wake up call! You know what? I think Tiger King is probably going to be the thing.
That'll be.
How did you get through the great quarantine? Let me tell you the story. And the guy and his tigers, and another guy and his sex cult, and a woman that fed her husband to the lions. I mean, it's just going to be.
Do you think Oklahoma, in some way, some fashion, or maybe the country as a whole, we should have a Joe Exotic statue? A place,
a great idea.
A beacon of hope, a beacon of light that we can all travel to once the quarantine is over. So
Take our families.
Mass gatherings. So generations from now, we can sit there and say, guys, this man right here is what got us through 2020.
I think it's a great idea. That's a good idea. Joe Exotic statue. The great hero of the 2020 quarantine.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings.
Wake up call! I mentioned the draft is going to be a virtual event. We kind of know that. You know, everybody's going to be in home locations and everybody on computers and whatnot. But how many of us will be watching this just to see if it falls apart? This is the aspect of the draft. We're going to see who's getting picked and what teams did what, who moved up in the draft to get who, and all of that we normally do. But how many of us are watching for the Joe Burrow feed to just collapse at the right time?
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings. Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
Cole Kmet, Notre Dame tight end, soon to be first round NFL draftee. We anticipate is going to join us in 13 minutes. Ron Culver has 4 stories. 3 of them are real. And I think I've only nailed it once so far, right?
I'm trying to do my best to make it a little difficult.
Oh, you're doing a fantastic job of
Thank
making it.
God.
We even have brought in John McMullen at times, and it's been a failure. So, all right, let's get it going here.
All right, story number 1. Taiwan, whose baseball league has been playing to empty stadiums, has been a model for how to battle the outbreak. Hit a snag last weekend when social distancing was pushed to the limits with a good old-fashioned baseball brawl.
Wait a second. Is that going to be the reason why the league now gets canceled or pushed back?
That's why I'm bringing it up.
Unbelievable.
Because we've thought of every scenario, but we haven't thought about, hey, what happens when a pitcher throws at a batter's head and that batter storms the mound, bench is clear, social distancing is out the window.
That's terrible. I would be so mad. If I'm a player and my money now got messed with because some idiot either threw inside or charged the mound. But at the same time, as a fan, think about this. Imagine this scenario here. We get MLB back in some dome or whatever scenario that they create. They draw a line around 20-mile radius in Arizona, Phoenix. And first time you go out, somebody in the Astros gets plunked because, hey, it's the Astros, right?
It's the Astros, and we're all assuming that they're going to get plunked at
Absolutely.
many points.
Who's the first Astro to ruin it for the rest of us? Who's the first guy that gets plunked that charges the mound?
I still say this bet is still good, even though coronavirus is in full effect. Who was was it Damian Lewis, the leading, he was the running back for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yes.
It was a prop bet. I think you and I talked about
We
it.
definitely talked about that during the week of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that Damian Lewis. Damian Williams rushing attempts versus Alex Bregman hit by pitches. And even though it might be a short season, it might not be a season, I think Alex Bregman still wins.
Isn't that amazing? He still wins. He still gets hit more often than
Because how many times did Damian Williams run? You ran for like
not
14
many.
times?
Yeah, something like that. Oh,
Wasn't
you're
that
right.
many.
He's definitely going to get hit more than 14, 15 times, without a doubt.
That futures bet will still pay off if you took my advice back in, was that January?
Correct. You're right. And think about this. I don't know. Well, clearly the bet's off because it fell in there, but I don't know how many people took your advice,
I know.
knowing ahead of time, the seer that you are, that the season would be shortened due to the coronavirus.
And Alex Bregman still will get plunked more.
Absolutely.
And the short season. Now, one thing you need to know about Taiwan, too, is that they don't battle, or they don't. They're very calm when they play. They don't even argue balls and strikes.
So this is something that's very rare. It would be like the equivalent of Burrow not going one.
Yeah, a brawl is very strange.
Right. Okay. Believable. Let's start there. Okay. What's story 2?
Story 2: items found during a beach cleanup in New Jersey will be auctioned off, with all proceeds going to first responders, doctors, and nurses battling COVID-19.
Wait a second. If anybody has ever taken the time to comb the beaches with a metal detector, there isn't anything. It's an insult to give that to a first responder.
Yeah, well,
So-
it's not a insult to give it to a first responder. I mean, they're not giving the items; they're just auctioning them off.
And the proceeds will go to first responders.
This goes back to, I mean, they're literally gonna find every which way possible to raise money for first responders.
Look,
and doctors and nurses.
Unless you find somebody's 28 karat gold cross or Star of David that they forgot on the beach, I don't think people that leave stuff on the beach usually don't go back for it unless it's personal items like a wallet or credit card, right? Oh man, I forgot that shell that we picked up, or some trinket in your.
Who says they haven't found a wallet or a credit card?
Well, okay, well isn't that illegal?
Maybe there's cash. I don't know. It's Jersey. Jersey has its own rules.
I don't know. Isn't that illegal?
Maybe it's a purse.
So this is what
they took out everything inside.
This is what people now are going to associate with New Jersey, is the local authorities picking up stuff like purses and wallets and expensive sneakers, giving people like 6 hours to claim it, and then saying, if you don't claim this in 6 hours, it's going up for public auction.
Basically, yeah.
Now, the worst part about it is I have no problem believing every word of it, being right outside of that state. All right, that's story 2. What's 3?
Story number 3: Louis Vuitton releases $2,700 dumbbells and $670 jump ropes for your quarantine workout needs.
Oh, all right. I know we have another story to come, but I'm just hoping and praying this isn't real. Just for obvious reasons, I'm hoping and praying that this is not real.
What, you're not going to get down on a $2,700 set of dumbbells?
No. In fact, the ones that I have
that are monogrammed with LV? Or a jump rope?
No, and I'm thinking, should I have? I don't know. Could you
Made
not
from
get
the
like
finest silk?
Could you not-
finest hair from a sloth?
a child's spine? Do you think is what you actually connect the weights
No,
with?
that was a purse. We did that a couple weeks ago.
Louis Vuitton. I'm not sure, man. This one does sound believable because you know that there is some ridiculous, over-the-top blue check celebrity that can't wait to put up a TikTok video of them opening up the box and then using the Louis Vuitton $750 dumbbells.
Yeah.
Ugh. It's just one collective sigh from America. Ugh. You know that Krusty the Clown sigh? That's like a, that's just a perfect one, man. Seriously. All right, so that's number 3. What's number 4?
Number 4, a Republican state representative from Idaho compared her state's stay-at-home order to Nazi Germany, even called her state governor Little Hitler.
Oh, see, I spoke too soon with my crusty. Should have saved it for this one. The problem with all 4 of these are they're believable. A couple of them, you just don't want them to be true. Like the last two, for the sake of our society, in completely different means to the same end, I just hope and pray. One of them, unfortunately, is true. That's the worst part about it, I think.
There you go. There you have it.
Oh, my goodness. All right, let's recap. Go back in reverse order. We've got the Republican governor, is it, or mayor?
State rep.
State rep. Okay. Well, nobody pays attention to state reps, right?
Well, until she calls her state, her governor, Little Hitler, and his stay-at-home order, she likens it to being in Nazi Germany.
I'm guessing the governor for that state is Democrat.
Yeah, I believe he is.
Yes. Chances are that this is meant to draw and incite.
No, he is a Republican.
Oh, jeez, even worse.
So you got Republican on Republican crime.
That's pretty rare right now. All right, so Jersey Beaches is story 3, where they're just combing everything and selling whatever they can
Don't
find.
forget about the Louis Vuitton.
Oh yeah, Louis
dumbbells,
Vuitton.
Zep rope,
Right,
matching set.
I had that swap. That's story 3. Pardon me, Louis
Only
Vuitton
set you back $3,300 for the pair.
for the entire set right there. $3,300.
We'll knock it down to $3,250.
Man, not even my Peloton cost that much. All right, what's the? And I financed the hell out of that.
And then Taiwan baseball might be a precursor to there being no Major League Baseball because of
A brawl, right? Well,
because they had a brawl.
I know both Japan and Singapore, 2 areas that were correctly and rightfully so lauded for, praised, if you will, for their initial attempts at mitigating the spread of the virus, have since seen some relapse. In Japan, of course, for some reason in northern Japan, decided to reopen schools and restaurants and everything like a day after they got numbers in, and now they're in the second state of emergency. But that's why I'm trying to talk through the whole Taiwan thing, and I wonder if this is one of those, well, it was based on a real story, but I just shifted it to make it fake. You know, Ron's good at sliding and maneuvering a real story into a fake one. Twitch right now, the overwhelming response is number 2, which would be the Jersey Beaches. And a lot of people that follow me are in the PA and Jersey area. So what's the show where you ask the audience, is it Millionaire?
Millionaire? Yeah. Who wants to be a millionaire?
I'm polling the audience right now, and I'm going to take the audience's general selection here and say, because it's our area, go with number 2. Although in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, wouldn't you have snuffed that out ahead of time and thought he's going to be all over Jersey stuff? I'm going 2.
Going 2?
You have to tell us now because Cole Komet's coming up.
You're right. Everyone's right.
Ah!
Number 2 is the fake story.
I feel like that was easy, though. You
Louis
threw us a
Vuitton
bone.
and Nazi Idaho is real.
Yeah, we should talk about both of those. Cole Komet, though, is coming up next.
O'Reilly.
Stop by O'Reilly.
So he's calling. Sorry, that was great.
He's calling us.
All right.
Wiper blade.
That was great,
I
man.
thought about not doing, or I thought about not doing New Jersey, but I'm like, no, because then it sounds really fake.
Right.
There was a story though about New Jersey beach cleanup.
Is that right?
Better price.
Yeah. But it was more or less about the things they found at New Jersey beaches.
Ah, nice.
Which was fantastic.
Which is stuff you probably couldn't auction, right?
Oh, you can't auction any of this stuff. I mean, let's see. Some of the items found on the beaches included boxer shorts, a turkey baster, plastic vampire teeth, a coconut, an onion, a full jar of pickles, a credit and a debit card, and a pregnancy test.
Home loan experts are available to help 24
Pregnancy
hours a day.
test. I
7
assume it's
days
a
week.
negative one. Although, actually, no, I shouldn't.
Call for cost information.
It'll probably be positive.
In all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
At CDW, we get your organization can be demanding.
I know. The marketing team's outside my office. They want their Adobe update.
All right, buddy.
With Adobe's Value Incentive Plan, deployed by the experts at CDW, you can quickly and easily manage software subscriptions for the whole team.
On Acrobat and Creative Cloud.
All included.
Cool. Guys, I'm coming out. Don't hurt me.
For a satisfied digital workforce, you need Adobe and IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/Adobe.
I'm not a big talker. I am a big doer. But sometimes the only way to solve the problem is to get on the horn and figure it out. So the only people I like talking to, Grainger. With knowledgeable product experts, ready with the answers to my toughest questions, calling Grainger is the one conversation I don't mind having. From machining and motor parts to valves and vacuum pumps. When it comes to solving my problems, Grainger's got my back. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I owed the IRS $10,000. The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my...
Cole Kmet is ready.
Cool.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
No, but the article about the New Jersey beach cleanup, I forgot to tell you, the one thing that they found promising was that there was very little plastic bag, straws, or coffee stores or balloons.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, condoms, I guess, don't count as balloons, right?
No, they didn't mention that. I guess there's probably not a lot of that being used either.
That's true.
296-9744. 800.
I figured he's like, you know what? I'm going to go with Jersey anyway. I'm not going to name a city. I mean, this was, where was it? Did this in Sandy Hook, New Jersey.
Okay.
So I was going to stay away from naming an actual town and the Jersey beaches and just see what happens.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
Reading right from NFL.com, if you want them, you're going to have to take them late first or early second. I don't think so. I think you're going to have to get them in the first if you want them. An AFC coach said. Then goes on to rave about our next guest, and rightfully so. If you've seen film, if you've watched highlights of Notre Dame, you understand why Cole Kmet is the top-rated tight end to come out in this year's draft. At Cole K. Met is how you follow him on Twitter. Soon to be NFL star Cole. Eitan Shander, SB Nation Radio. First and foremost, thank you for your time today, and congrats on what will be being drafted in the NFL. If not Thursday, then certainly Friday.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
How's life for you? This is not a typical draft coming into it, and I'm sure you've had coaching and talked to your coaches at Notre Dame and people outside that you've now brought into your world, and I'm sure they've mentioned, well, we used to do it this way, but now because of the virus and what's happened in our world, things are a little different. How are you, first and foremost, Cole? How are you personally?
I've been doing good, just been hanging out with the family at home and trying to stay busy as best as I can with workouts and stuff. But it's been good. I'm healthy. Everyone in my family's healthy, so it's been good so far.
What's been an obstacle, I guess, that you and other people that are coming out, draftees coming out this year, have had to kind of get around, even if it's a small hurdle? I imagine not physically being able to do the interviews and even have a physical for teams that are interested in you.
Yeah, obviously that's tough. For me, I'm a guy that really was looking forward to those, visits to the cities and all that. Then that's something I wasn't able to do due to all this. And I also missed out on my pro day, which obviously kind of sucks. But it is what it is. Been doing well with the FaceTime and WebEx and Zoom interviews with the coaches, and kind of been staying busy with that. So that's been good. But definitely kind of sucks missing out on the pro day and those top 30 visits.
Well, and I guess the expectation is, hey, young man coming out of Notre Dame, tech savvy, so you're good on your end. But have you noticed with teams, and you don't have to out anybody, I'm not asking that specifically, I'm just saying, have you noticed that maybe that there's people that are not necessarily accustomed to using the FaceTime and webinar Zooms and stuff now interacting with you?
I've actually been pleasantly surprised. There's been some older coaches I've talked to, and they've handled it really well. So they actually might not even know a little more than I do about how to handle all this. So I'm sure they've been, coached properly on how to use it all. But, I've been pleasantly surprised. I didn't have any hiccups during the whole process, and it went pretty smoothly, actually.
It's funny, right? You're getting coached up for the interviews going into the NFL, expected to go Thursday night as the top tight end, and here they are getting coached up on just how to use FaceTime and Zoom. Crazy world, man.
Yeah, for sure.
What are you most excited? I'm sorry, Cole. What are you most excited about? Hearing your name, even if it's on TV and it's through Roger Goodell's basement, it's your moment. and nobody can take that away, no matter what situation or circumstance we're going through on this planet. What are you most excited about hearing your name called?
Yeah, I think just to finally be on a team. This whole process has been a long one. It kind of drags out after a while, especially with what's going on right now. So kind of just, knowing to what team I'm going to is going to be really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Do you have an idea in mind? And again, you don't have to, if you feel comfortable, that's fine, but I wouldn't ask you to name it. But do you have an idea as far as maybe you've narrowed it down to a handful of teams where you expect to go?
No, I really haven't. I mean, there's a pretty wide range for me, between the late first round to early second. So there's a lot of teams in that area, and I've been in contact with all those teams. So, I wish I could say that there was a team that I felt comfortable with that I could say that would pick me, but, it's kind of all over the place. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Outside of the obvious financial implications, how special would it be for you, your hard work, what you put in at Notre Dame, to hear your name called on Thursday night?
Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome. I mean, that was a dream for me since I was a kid. And, being able to go in the first round would obviously be a dream come true. And, to be picked on Thursday night would be awesome. So it would just be a really special moment for me.
Cole Kmet joining us at Cole Kmet, Kmet, on Twitter. Tight end out of Notre Dame, soon to be NFL draftee Thursday night, we believe. I'm curious, when did you know, when you were playing this game, at what level, what age, that you were different, that things weren't going to stop after high school and sure as hell weren't going to stop after Notre Dame?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I never really thought about that. I always thought of it as I was always going to go and play professional football, and something that I always thought about. Nice. I mean, I remember when I was in youth football, and it was my first year of tackle in sixth grade, and they kind of organized it by weight division. So you kind of, depending on your weight, was kind of where you play. And as a sixth grader, I was playing with all the eighth graders, and I felt like I was the best player on the team then. So it was kind of funny as a sixth grader being up with all the eighth graders and doing that. So I think that was kind of when I kind of first realized that I was pretty good at it, and that I could be playing this for a little while.
When you were younger, was there somebody maybe still in college or in the NFL that you admired, that you modeled your game after, that you had their jersey, somebody that you connected with from a fan standpoint?
Yeah, from a fan standpoint, I always looked at, Rob Gronkowski as the tight end was the guy that I really looked up to. And then just as a more general level, Tom Brady was a guy that, I have his jersey growing up. He was a player that, I just loved watching and loved his competitiveness, and something that I just tried to model in my game.
Yeah, and I wonder now, when you look around in the NFL, the tight end being, especially a body like you who can play at a physical level and break tackles after catching the football, the position, just seeing how it's changed and shifted from when you were a kid to now, that if somebody's investing in you in the first round, you're going to be asked to be an integral part of that offense day one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you look at guys like, Kittle and Kelsey right now, on two Super Bowl teams this past year, and the offense kind of flows through them, whether that's the run game, pass game, or, play action type of stuff. So, yeah, definitely times these days kind of have to do everything, and, I think I'm able to bring that to the next level.
Do you pay attention, and I'm just curious, you and others, and how much it ever comes up in conversation? I'm guessing it doesn't for somebody as focused as you to have it pay off to be drafted in the first round or two of the NFL, but do you ever pay attention to scouts and all the other stuff that comes out that gets said about you, the plus and the minus about Cole coming out of college and all of that?
Yeah, I mean, you sure hear of those things. I definitely don't seek those things out. I kind of rely on, the people I've been talking to in terms of, the scouts that I've actually been in contact with, and, the coaches that I've talked to. So those are the kind of people that I listen to and kind of hear what they have to say. So you definitely take it for what it's worth. And, I know that there's areas in my game that I have to improve on, and just like any player does. So, there's areas where I have to improve on. There's areas in my play that are strengths of mine. So, I'm definitely aware of those, and, definitely take it for what it is, and, continue to work on those things.
Is there, and just looking at it, because I want to get your thoughts. Obviously, what happened Sunday with The Last Dance being an Illinois native, Lake Barrington, I believe, right, is where you're from.
Yeah.
But looking at school, leaving school, not everybody gets the chance to play top-level football, especially at a university as prestigious as Notre Dame. What will you miss when you look back, knowing that life is just beginning for you in the NFL? What's one thing that you know you'll miss about college?
I think just going out there with my best friends out of the tunnel and being able to play in front of those fans. Notre Dame fans are a unique breed, and they love their Notre Dame football. So just kind of missing the walk to the stadium and running out of the tunnel are kind of just two things I really miss.
I imagine The Last Dance is mandatory viewing in your household and basically everybody in Illinois, right?
Of course. Of course.
Did you now, being a native and growing up, I'm sure, with Michael and all the Bulls around you, was there anything new that maybe you learned about that documentary Sunday night?
I mean, for me, I never really got to see Jordan play live, so just being able to watch his athleticism was just pretty remarkable. So, and his competitiveness, just those two things really kind of showed out, in the highlights and in the footage that they showed. So those two kind of things were something that was really cool to kind of see on film and see in the documentary.
It is amazing just to hear him talk, and that was something. I'm a little older, so I got to watch him play, but even the older highlight videos that came out way back on tape, and as you mentioned, watching, I think there's something special about listening to Michael Jordan as he's talking, watching a highlight of him that will never get old for any sport fan.
For sure, 100%.
Are you watching any? I know business, and you've got so much going on with the NFL. Have you been able to take a break and watch any TV, Ozark, Westworld, anything like that?
Yeah, I watched. We actually just finished Ozark just a couple weeks ago, the third season. So we keep up with that show. Obviously, watching the Jordan documentary now, and then just kind of going around. I need to get back into Westworld. I've seen the first two seasons, so I need to finish. This next one that just came out. So yeah, just keep it up with shows and stuff. Gotta do something in the downtime.
Absolutely, man. I have to be honest. As somebody who's watched every episode of Westworld, I'm very disappointed with the third season. But I'll let you go through it and experience it yourself.
Really?
You know what it feels like, Cole? It feels like they took some time off and they rebooted the show for people that complained they couldn't understand it and people that never watched it. It seems like it's a new show based on old premise. It's a little, but again, I want you to watch it because I appreciate the fact that you've stuck out the two seasons. Did you like Ozark?
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
Did you like how Ozark played out this season?
I did. I thought, Ozark's kind of a dark show, and it is, all the people in there. No one's innocent in that show, so it's I like how it played out at the end, and I definitely give that a recommendation to anyone who's looking for something to watch. So, definitely like Ozark, and looking forward to the possible next season coming out.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Cole, for the time. Thank you, and congratulations on continued success now in the NFL. We all look forward to hearing your name Thursday night.
Yep, appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it. Cole Kmet joining us at Cole Kmet on Twitter, KMET. At Shander Show for me. We'll wrap the hour coming up next here on The Second Level.
Pushing the up.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. I never know what to expect,
The most angry
athletes don't normally talk.
No.
You shot me with a
Well, draft picks still do. Draftees, because they haven't gotten the riot act, and they don't have money attached to them just yet.
Right.
But I do.
Yeah, there is
remember
something
it
about that.
because it was
He
Ravens promotion. We were at the paintball place, and I think we were just getting on each other's nerves, like 20-year-old dudes do.
Yeah, I mean,
and, you put your hands up.
It's tough
and I
because
took
you
a
already know you
free
got
shot.
10 minutes to
Not
feel somebody out.
appreciated one bit. So I don't know if I ever apologized for that, but if I didn't, sorry, man.
I remember my rib cage being so sore for 3 days afterward. You hit me 4 times. It wasn't one shot. It was multiple pulls of the trigger too. That you got me.
Oh,
on,
geez,
so.
it's you completely have not forgotten about it.
Pushing the odds with Matt Peralt. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern on SB Nation Radio.
Headed to Texas to watch your team play, but don't know where to go for that pregame drink? Visit culturemap.com for all of the hottest spots in Houston, Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, and San Antonio. From the most popular bars to those favorite dine-in gems,
All right,
Culture Map has it all. Then before you leave town, why not visit some of the best places to shop or see some of the sights? Culture Map has extensive coverage on all the things to do in the city you're in. So check out culturemap.com. That's culturemap.com.
Nation Tonight with John Michaels.
Did you see the latest on Kevin Durant where he said he played with a bunch of athletes, but not a bunch of guys that could shoot or play? Dude, Russell Westbrook and James Harden were on your team. I get it. Kendrick Perkins wasn't a very skilled big man. Thabo Sefolosha was a great defensive guy, and that's it. Don't do this 6, 7, 8 years later where you're calling guys out. You sound like a candy ass when you do that. I thought it was soft as hell when he left, but to not be hypocritical, it is free agency. You are free to go play wherever the hell you want when you're a free agent. But why years later are you trashing guys that you used to play with? And whenever you're healthy again, you're now going to play again. I'm going to tell you, if I'm Russell Westbrook and I'm James Harden and I go against Kevin Durant, I'm putting the Slim Reaper on his rear end. Tell him, shut the hell up. You were part of the reason we couldn't get the job done.
SB Nation Tonight, weeknights at 10 Eastern on SB Nation Radio.
Hey everybody, RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com, your home for the best Dallas Cowboys coverage on the web. And did you know that we have a podcast feed? The Blogging the Boys podcast feed has daily, that's right, daily episodes breaking down the latest and greatest in the world of America's team. We have multiple shows, multiple analysts, including a Super Bowl winner, two-time Super Bowl champion Tony Casillas is part of our rotation, and we want to make sure you are as well. We're available on Apple, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcast. So don't miss out. Subscribe to the Blogging the Boys podcast feed today.
You're listening to The Second Level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores. Here's Eitan Shander.
How many people do you think are going to take this famous recipe, turn it around, and make it for their family? I saw a couple of weeks ago, I think it was before we started the show, DoubleTree released their recipe on how to make chocolate chip cookies. Which, again, are you making chocolate chip cookies? Is this your first time? And why that? But I get it. They're famous. They've somehow branded chocolate chip cookies on their own. IKEA is now jumping in the game of here's how to make our famous fill in the blank. And they, of course, have their Swedish meatballs that are served at the store. IKEA is a headache and then some. But I guess they realize it. Hence, they have these meatballs and other food available. I guess there's a cafeteria, if you will, where you can buy food. Now, IKEA is a national thing, right? You guys have it down in Houston, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot there. But I imagine that IKEA is not just a local. Like, it's not a giant food mart here where you think, what the hell's giant? No. We've got Publix or fill-in-the-blank supermarket. IKEA is everywhere. Is this appealing to people?
I'm guessing to make Swedish meatballs, maybe?
Yeah, but
does IKEA have any other food besides Swedish meatballs?
I don't know, but wouldn't you just go to Google? Again, this goes back to the most popular website right now. Wouldn't you just go back to Google and Google how to make, or YouTube, and this is why I think YouTube is bigger on that list than you think.
I'm surprised is why don't don't they just have like Swedish meatballs for sale at IKEA? You just pick some up and then the directions be on the box, right?
I don't think so. I think that
they gotta have it. Come on now.
No, I don't think you can. You can buy them made to order and walk out with a bag of meatballs, but you can't get the ingredients of it. Now, look, Disney released its recipe for churros. Disney Parks, the actual parks.
But that makes sense, or that's a little different because you can only get them at Disney. You could never buy them in the frozen food section.
But you can make your own churros. How difficult is it?
But they're not Disney churros.
Okay,
They
this
got
is
the secret. They got that secret ingredient that makes it,
Right.
like crack on a stick.
that's butter. I think is that the ingredient.
Could
Real butter and real sugar. I think of those ingredients that we refer to as crack on a stick. Okay, this is where I get off the train. I'm all for if you want to make Swedish meatballs, chocolate chip cookies, or even churros for your family. I'm good with that. But do you really need to add this is the Disney park version of churros that I made? Do we really need to add that? Is anybody out there craving, if I were to serve Swedish meatballs at the next dinner that I host, is anybody going to be standing up and objecting? These are not the IKEA Swedish meatballs, so I've got to go. I'm out.
They could be.
Well, to be fair, I already have screened most of the people coming to my dinner party, so I'm well aware of
You already
rooting
know
those.
that. You already know that you're going to lie to them.
Exactly. And I've rooted out. Yes, I've rooted out the nosy people. Out. Unbelievable. Hey, breaking news regarding the XFL. We're going to have to get to this tomorrow. Oliver Luck sues Vince McMahon for millions after the XFL declared bankruptcy. Can't say I'm shocked. Go, Luck, go. Matt Peralt, Pushing the Odds, comes your way next on all SB Nation radio platforms. Thanks, Ron. We're back tomorrow. Thanks, man.
No worries. You need anything for tomorrow? Just let me know.
All right. I think I have somebody at 12:10.
Wake up call.
Other than that, I will let you know
If
for
it does
sure.
come to that, can we have the Walking
Maybe do
Dead
another
zombies,
team.
not the World Wars? All righty.
Awesome, brother. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
I'm not outrunning a World War Z.
See ya.